Good morning and welcome to Leadership Tip Tuesday with Coach Ellis. Hey, this is the day I spend just a few minutes with leaders, emerging, existing, and exiting leaders, and talk about the principles that get us down our path of leadership. You know, it doesn't matter whether or not you are leading a Fortune 500 company, a small church, your family, or a large corporation, or a large government entity. The leadership principles are pretty much the same. For the last several weeks, we've been digging into John Maxwell's 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership. And we are to the law now that he calls the law of intuition. And John Maxwell states that leaders evaluate everything from a leadership bias. When I first heard that, I said, what does that have to do with intuition? And the more I dug into it, the more I began to realize that John Maxwell talks about a leadership bias from a leadership perspective based upon his gift of leadership, his talent of leadership. And we tend to look at life from our giftings and our talent base. So if you are a giver, or if you are a perceiver, or if you are a nurturer, you have a natural bias and you look at life through a bias of that particular thing. Intuition are the hunches that go with your gifting. You know, George Brothers says that hunches, they're usually based on a series of facts filed away just beneath the surface. Your hunches are based upon your observation in life, based upon your unique perspective. So this law of intuition for leadership really means that there are some things I cannot explain to you, but I know deep in my knower for them to be true, based on a series of facts that I've accumulated over the years that hide just beneath the surface. Here's why this is important to leaders. Everyone won't understand your perspective. Everyone won't understand how you derive there. Some of the greatest decisions in the world for leadership have been made from the perspective that nobody thought it was a good idea. Nobody thought that it would even work. Some folks looked at the leader and said, have you lost your mind? Because the leader could not explain it, but he knew or she knew deep down in the recesses of their soul, of their spirit, for it to be the right path. Intuition takes us to a place that our intellect cannot. It is trusting our gut. It is trusting our senses, our sixth sense. It's trusting that part of us which we cannot define and we cannot explain to folks. This is a scary thing. But the more we trust our intuition, the more we find results coming from our intuition, the more we begin to rely upon our intuition. And the more we rely upon our intuition, the more authentic our leadership becomes, because it's uniquely about how we are designed. I think John Maxwell set this out very well. And I think that if we really want to be great leaders, we must rely upon that part of us that makes us leaders. And you can't explain it. So sometimes it won't make sense. Sometimes it won't even make sense to you. It'll be a calculated risk. It's intuition. Have you ever met somebody or been in a place and everything looked right? It sounded right. If you had to take out a checklist and check everything checked off right, but somehow inside you knew something wasn't right, something was missing, and no one else saw it but you, that's your intuition. Trust it. Intuition, your competency will get you most of the way there on whatever path you're in, but your character, which helps build your intuition, gets you the rest of the way. So trust your intuition. It builds your character and it gets you beyond where your intellect can take you. Hey, I'm always amazed that my intellect gets me someplace, that my intuition takes me even further. Hey, I'm Coach Ellis. You got questions or comments, hit me down below. Catch me on Facebook at Coach Ellis Crum. Shoot me an email at CoachEllisCrum.net. Until next week, have a one-tabulous leadership tip, the law of intuition Tuesday. God bless you, and we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.